Bonjour. My name is David Devere. I am a wine educator and traveler, and this is a new YouTube channel called Savvy Nomad TV. I've broken it up into a couple different sections. This section that I'm starting with at first is called the Eau de Vie. And the first thing I'm going to do in my Eau de Vie series is this, the 2021 Costco Wine Advent Calendar. In the next 24 days, well, the 1st to the 24th of December, we're going to taste each one of these. Now, there's a number of things you need to collect to do this tasting with me, and I'm going to go over those right now. Okay, let's start with the obvious. If you want to follow along and taste these wines, you're going to need this Costco 2021 Wine Advent-ure Calendar box. This is available at Costco's around the country for $99.99. So with tax, you've got about $100 and some dollars. There are 24 half-size bottles of wine in here. I haven't researched them, tasted them, looked at them, anything. I'm going to do this together with you. So, if you want to do the tastings, you'll need the box. If you don't have the box, or if you're coming to this late and you have the box, you can go back and watch the old tastings, or you can just follow along. Maybe it'll be entertainment anyway. So there you go, Wine Advent box, first thing you need. The second thing you're going to need is a wine opener. So I've got a collection of them here. Here's one that you put into a bottle, screw, and the cork pulls itself off. Here's a rare one that you'll never be able to use because they're too funky, but this is supposed to go in and fit into a vintage bottle, and you would kind of cut around and squeeze out the cork. You're not going to need that for this. There's those ones that have the things that go like that, you know. You crank it down and I hate those, by the way. This is really the best thing you need. It's a sommelier or wine steward corkscrew. It's got a knife to cut the capsule off. It's got a way to lever it up. And, well, you're going to get to see me doing that 24 different times. So, a corkscrew, and I've got a link in the description to my favorite type of corkscrew, and you can follow that link to Amazon if you want to buy one. But you've probably got one, so you don't need to buy anything, but if you want to, you can follow that link. That links to my Amazon affiliate account, and I'll make a small, tiny commission off that if you want to buy a new corkscrew. I know what you're thinking. He's going to say I'm going to need the glass next. Actually, no. You need an ice bucket. And you really need an ice bucket before you need the corkscrew, because an ice bucket will help you get the wine to the proper temperature. Proper temperature helps you fully appreciate the aromas and the flavors of the wine. So an ice bucket, and when I say ice bucket, I mean something that's mostly water and a tray full of ice. So you need something like that. Now you can use a bowl, you can use a bucket, like a plastic bucket. I've got an actual ice bucket here. I'm not talking about the ice bucket that you would have cocktail ice in. Let me show you. This is an ice bucket for cocktail ice. And while it might work for a small bottle, you can't actually get it very far in there. So that's not the type of ice bucket I'm talking about. You'll need a nice, deep ice bucket like this. Again, there's a link. Item number 4 is a wine glass. You need a wine glass to drink the wine out of. Painfully obvious. Now, you could drink it out of any old glass. You could drink it out of a juice cup, but I prefer a wine glass because they actually have function to their form. When they've got a stem like this, you can swirl the wine, which helps release the aromas. The shape of the glass comes to a point at the top, which allows you to capture the aromas and smell them. The stem is a thermodynamic device, meaning if you hold it by a stem, you're not heating up the glass, you're not heating up the wine with your hand, but if the wine is too cold, you can heat up the wine with a hand. So this is a wine glass you will need. Now, The bottles are going to be half size like this. For reference, here is a full-size bottle. Traditionally in restaurants for wine service, you've got 5 servings of wine in here. This is a full-size bottle. This is a half-size bottle, meaning you've got 2.5 servings of wine in here. So what does that mean for your wine glass? Well, you could pour half of this in and you've got 1.25 servings of wine, which would be an appropriate amount to drink. So now you know, when you open these, you can pour half of it in and your wine glass is ready to go. Wine glass, item number 4. Item number 5, the wine tasting chart. This is my custom wine tasting chart, and I will make an entire video on how to use this. But essentially what this is a mathematical formula, a little bit of science applied to preference, a mathematical formula so you can come up with your own 100-point score for each wine that you taste. There are 6 columns here, so you'll need 4 pieces of paper, 4 of these charts, and you'll be able to score these. Now this score will allow you to have some context of why the shelf talker at the liquor store says the wine is a 92-point wine, or why it says it's a 96-point wine. How do they come up with that number? Now I kind of know, but this is my own formula, and I want to share this with you so that you know how to do it too. 4 copies of these. That's item number 5. Finally, an item that you don't really need, but I have, and it's pretty fun, is a wine temperature probe. They make a lot of different sorts of these. Sometimes they clip onto a bottle. They look like an aquarium thermometer. Do people have aquariums anymore? Well, anyway, this is how it works. You take a bottle, you would stick this next to it, you would press the button, and it would tell you what the temperature is. 60 degrees. For this Rioja, that's drinking temperature. Just came out of my basement. This is not necessary, but fun. And if you want to get one, then there's a link in the description. Okay, so those are the things you need to join me on this wine tasting adventure. The Wine Advent box, a glass, a corkscrew of some sort of reasonable design, preferably an ice bucket or some sort of ice bucket. Download 4 copies of the tasting chart and look for the video upcoming about how to use the chart. And finally, for fun, a temperature probe. I'll have these videos uploaded onto YouTube every day, the 1st to the 21st of 2021 by noon Central Time. So check in with me then. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, which is a like. Why would anyone want to give you a thumbs down? I don't know. And possibly leave me a comment down below if you've got a question. Until then, until I make this next video on the tasting chart, I say à tout à l'heure. See you later, and cheers.